Alright everyone, Linus here, and today we are diving deep into the world of Linux. Buckle up because things are about to get nerdy. Did you know that 90% of cloud infrastructure runs on Linux? That's right. From the servers powering the internet to the supercomputers crunching insane amounts of data, to even your Android phone, Linux is everywhere. But why is Linux so popular? What makes it the go-to choice for so many critical systems? Well, in this video, we're gonna break it all down. We'll explore what Linux is at its core, why it's so darn popular, and why you should definitely consider using it. We'll rip apart the Linux kernel and see what makes it tick, explore the wonderful world of Linux distributions, and even teach you how to navigate the command line like a pro. And hey, stick around till the end because I've got a super cool Linux trick that will blow your mind. So what exactly is Linux? Well, at its core, Linux is an operating system just like Windows or Mac OS. But here's the kicker, it's open source. And no, that doesn't mean it's just free as in beer. It means the source code, the very DNA of the operating system, is freely available for anyone to see, modify, and distribute. It's like having the blueprints to a high-performance car, but instead of keeping them locked up, they're shared with the world. Now, you might be wondering, why would anyone give away something so valuable for free? Well, that's the beauty of open source. It fosters collaboration, innovation, and a whole lot of geekery. Because the code is open, anyone can contribute to its development, making it more secure, stable, and feature-rich. And trust me, the Linux community is huge and passionate. These guys are like the Avengers of the tech world, constantly working behind the scenes to make Linux the best it can be. Unlike those proprietary operating systems we all know and tolerate, Linux is incredibly lightweight. It uses fewer system resources, meaning it can run like a dream, even on older hardware. And let me tell you, in a world where planned obsolescence seems to be the norm, having an OS that doesn't slow down your computer to a crawl is a breath of fresh air. Now here's where things get really interesting. Linux isn't just one monolithic entity, it comes in many different flavors called distributions or distros for short. Each distro is like a finely tuned recipe tailored for specific needs and preferences. Think of it like choosing the perfect pizza. You got your classic pepperoni for the masses, your Hawaiian with pineapple for the adventurous, and your gourmet 4-cheese for the discerning palate. So how do you choose the right Linux distro for you? Well, fear not, my friends, because I'm here to guide you through the delicious buffet of options. First up, we have Ubuntu, the crowd pleaser, the go-to distro for beginners and everyday users. It's user-friendly, has a massive community, and comes with tons of software pre-installed. If you're new to Linux, Ubuntu is like dipping your toes into the shallow end of the pool. Next, we have Red Hat Enterprise Linux, or RHEL for short. This is the industry standard for businesses and enterprises. Okay, time to get a little bit more technical. Let's talk about the heart and soul of Linux, the kernel. Think of Linux as a house. The kernel is the foundation upon which everything else is built. It's the core of the operating system, responsible for managing the system's resources and talking directly to the hardware. So, what exactly does the kernel do? Well, for starters, it manages the CPU, deciding which processes get to use the processor and for how long. It's like a traffic cop, directing the flow of data and instructions to ensure everything runs smoothly. The kernel also handles memory management, allocating and deallocating memory to different processes as needed. Alright, let's talk about how you actually interact with Linux. Now, unlike Windows or Mac OS, which primarily rely on graphical user interfaces, Linux offers two main ways to interact with the system: the command line interface, or CLI, and the graphical user interface, or GUI. The CLI, my friends, is where the true power of Linux lies. It's a text-based interface that allows you to interact directly with the operating system by typing in commands. It might seem intimidating at first, but trust me, once you get the hang of it, it's incredibly powerful and efficient. You can automate tasks, write scripts, and do all sorts of cool stuff that would be difficult or impossible to do with a GUI. Now, for those of you who prefer a more visual approach, fear not, because Linux also offers a GUI. In fact, most Linux distributions come with a desktop environment such as GNOME, KDE, or XFCE, which provide a familiar point-and-click interface similar to Windows or Mac OS. But here's the thing, even if you're using a GUI, knowing some basic Linux commands can be incredibly useful. It's like having a secret weapon in your arsenal, allowing you to troubleshoot problems, manage files, and customize your system to your heart's content. So, what are some of these magical commands? Well, is your go-to command for listing files in a directory. It's like opening a folder in Windows Explorer or Finder, but way cooler. On the other hand, lets you view the contents of a file. Now, let's talk about the unsung heroes of the Linux world, Daemons. No, not the horned creatures from your nightmares, but rather background processes that run silently in the background, keeping your system running smoothly. They're like the stage crew of a theater production, working tirelessly behind the scenes to ensure the show goes on without a hitch. One example of a daemon is, which manages remote logins via SSH, or secure shell. It's like having a secure tunnel to your Linux system, allowing you to access it from anywhere in the world. Then there's the daemon that powers the MySQL database server, which is used by countless websites and applications to store and manage data. And let's not forget about the web server daemons, such as which are responsible for serving up websites and web applications to the world. They're like the waiters of the internet, taking orders from web browsers and serving up delicious web pages. But Linux isn't just for servers and command line wizards. Now imagine this, you're on vacation, sipping a pina colada on a tropical beach, when suddenly you realize you need to access some files on your home computer, which of course is running Linux. What do? Well, my friends, that's where SSH comes in. SSH, or Secure Shell, is a cryptographic network protocol that allows you to securely connect to a remote computer over an unsecured network. It's like having a secret handshake that only you and the remote computer know, ensuring that no one else can eavesdrop on your conversation. To use SSH, you'll need two things, an SSH client and an SSH server. The SSH client is what you use to initiate the connection, while the SSH server is what listens for and accepts incoming connections. Most Linux distributions come with an SSH server pre-installed, but you can easily install it if it's not. Once you have SSH set up, you can connect to your Linux computer from anywhere in the world using a terminal emulator or an SSH client. Alright, for all you cloud aficionados out there, let's talk about Amazon Linux 2, the distro that's taking the cloud by storm. If you're using Amazon Web Services, AWS, which, let's face it, is pretty much everyone these days, Amazon Linux 2 is the distro you want to be using. So, what makes Amazon Linux 2 so special? Well, for starters, it's specifically designed and optimized for running applications on AWS. It's like having a Formula One car that's built to race on a specific track. It's just a perfect match. Amazon Linux 2 is also pre-configured with all the tools and libraries you need to get up and running on AWS quickly and easily. So there you have it, folks. We've explored the vast and powerful world of Linux, from its humble beginnings to its current status as a dominant force in the tech world. We've dissected the kernel, navigated the command line, and even ventured into the cloud with Amazon Linux 2. Now that you've seen the light, what part of Linux excites you the most? Is it the open source philosophy, the power of the command line, or the endless possibilities it offers? Let me know in the comments down below. If you found this video helpful, be sure to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more awesome tech content. And don't forget to hit that bell icon so you don't miss out on future uploads. Until next time, keep on learning, keep on exploring, and keep on Linuxing.